and the best thing that you want, you need to have, I need to have. These two are synonymous for His Holiness. So it's like the mother. For the mother, if the children, they do so good, this is the best gift for the mother. Because the mother, if 24/7, the mother sacrifices for the child, for the children. And then the child, if they become self-sufficient, then that is the best gift for the mother. So this is exactly what His Holiness feels, that you do something good, compassionate act, not necessary for others, but for you to feel the ease. Opposite of compassion is anger, ego. These emotional states, they reject people away from you. When you reject others, others will reject you. When you're rejected, you feel hurt, the pain. Nobody wants to feel the pain. So what His Holiness wants, the best gift that His Holiness is expecting is that you should be happy. If that happens, this is the best gift for His Holiness. This is amazing. This is exactly how a very sensible, smart, compassionate mother would feel towards her children. This is exactly what His Holiness feels towards everybody, the leaders, the common people. For example, say the last few days, we see that the world leaders, particularly American presidents like Bill Clinton, George Bush, Obama, they were all sending best wishes to His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And then look at the points based on which they were praising His Holiness, saying that you are the embodiment of compassion for the world. You are the example for the world, example of compassion, example of harmony. So these are the qualities based on which all these big leaders, they praise His Holiness for. So these are the things that we, as ordinary, the commoners, ordinary people, the leaders, the CEOs, or in the education field, and the medical science, everywhere, social, the workers, we need to learn from this, that there is somebody who really embodies, who these big, great leaders, they identify as somebody from whom we have to learn. When the leader said that we have to learn from you, which means that what I mentioned of us, the ordinary beings, ordinary people. So having said this, today, what are we doing? So although Tibet House, we are, again, as you already know, most of you know that, on 6th July, we organized one program there to commemorate this great embodiment, the great ambassador of compassion, the great champion of compassion for the world. His Holiness the Dalai's 90th anniversary. And we're also organizing on a larger scale tomorrow, tomorrow in Dr. Ambedkar International Center. We're organizing a bigger program there. And so our staff, they all will be engrossed in preparing for that program. And our secretary was wondering if we can conduct this evening program. And I said that for His Holiness already made it very clear. And tomorrow what we're going to do is to commemorate His Holiness's the 90th birthday anniversary, the ambassador of compassion, ambassador of the true leadership of for the world. So therefore, he made it very clear that the best gift that we can offer to His Holiness is to practice compassion. So what we're doing here, this is the actual direct means to practice compassion. And offline, some of us are here. And then offline, there are many people joining. And then later on, people are going to watch this and also feel with the mirror neurons, what do you call it, mirror neurons, they can mirror what we're doing here, and feeling compassion can be triggered, instigated within themselves. So this is the best of the offerings from all of us. His Holiness, of course, commemorating that in the form of external, the festivities, so forth. This is an important part, but more important, something very solid and concrete, which would really make His Holiness happy, would be, what are you doing? The practice of compassion. So in this connection, I informed the secretary that, yes, of course, it's not easy for the staff. So while having to go to prepare. They have to stay late night, like 10, 11, 12, midnight, preparing for tomorrow's program. They setting up all the stage and everything there. And there are many other things to be done. But today, this evening, although the staff is going to be split, but this is worth doing it. This is what I indicated, and this is also the reality. So with this in mind, I'm so glad that all the offline participants, online participants, you are here, and we are actually, whether His Holiness is there to tell you that, hey, you, thank you so much for your practice of the taking aspiration Bodhisattva vow. But His Holiness says this is not, it's not about His Holiness coming to congratulate you, but we're doing this for our own happiness. Your happiness increases. This is the gift for His Holiness. So let's not forget this. But His mind, we're not really doing these things that His Holiness will be happy, but we're doing these things that His Holiness wants us to be happy. Let's not forget it. And then in whatever capacity that you are, say, with your own life, in whatever capacity, say, of some influence on others, your family members, or at workplace, or like, say, medical doctors, how you can influence the doctors, nurses, the patients, and so forth, like likewise the journalists, how you can influence other people, and likewise the shopkeepers, school teachers, principals, CEOs of or the corporate managers, whatever, in your own capacity. Just see that, okay, remember His Holiness's face. Remember His Holiness's face. And this is exactly what His Holiness oftentimes said in the earlier many years ago, that, say, if you really want to do something good for yourself, and remember my face. This is what His Holiness said. Remember, let us remember His Holiness's face, and then see if I dare to do something wrong, or if I dare to bully somebody, if I dare to exploit somebody, if I dare to cheat somebody. Just think of His Holiness's face, but not dare to do these things. So that itself is a great protection for us, to make sure that your compassion increases, and then your the wisdom, the eagerness to learn, to grow in your wisdom, the knowledge, because finally we want to lead a happy life. What does mean by happy life? I'll say one, the life with the minimum miseries and the maximum happiness, and that to a quality life. Quality life. So what gives us the quality? The knowledge gives us the quality. Information gives us the quality. Wisdom gives us the quality. And what gives us the ease? Your compassion gives us the ease. So the wisdom and the compassion, these two things make sure that we lead a very qualitatively happy life with least miseries. So just keep in mind that what we're doing is for ourselves, and meanwhile to expand whatever little joy and happiness that we're experiencing, to expand this, see how to share this with other beings. Others are suffering. Everybody's suffering. Everybody's suffering. Just see that your compassion, just in your own capacity, see how we can share your compassion with others. See how you can be honest to others, how you can be kind to others, how you can say not necessarily they have expectations. Without expectations, how you can render service, benefit with act of compassion. So this is something of what is expected. So with this mind, there are so many things that we can learn from His Holiness. Even the mere declaration that the best gift that you can give me is practice compassion. This itself is a big learning for us. Number one, for your own happiness. His Holiness is more concerned about our happiness than His gift. Be happy, there's His gift from me. So if you give me with everything, but if you're not happy, I'll be most unhappy. Gift is to make somebody happy. It doesn't give me happiness. So just imagine that His Holiness is exactly like the world is like the full of small children, and His Holiness is like the mother. So therefore, even the leaders, just think of that. Even the big leaders were leaders. Obama, such a respected leader. Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, all of them, how they describe His Holiness, saying that you are the role model for the world. So the world should hear, the world should hear this. We should hear this. Everybody should hear this. So with this in mind, see, from this, let us take maximum advantage of His Holiness's existence on planet Earth. We are breathing the same air as His Holiness. We are so fortunate. We are treading the same earth as His Holiness treads. We are so fortunate. Amazing. They can just imagine today, we think about the people at the time of the Buddha. They were breathing the same air as the Buddha. They were treading the same earth, the earth as the Buddha treaded. We think of these people, we see they're very meritorious. Of course, we are, each one of us, we're breathing the same air as His Holiness. Scientifically speaking, how many molecules of the air that His Holiness, breathe in and out? We took it, we breathe in and out, we breathe in and out. Scientifically speaking, all are already said there. It's just volumes and volumes. We are breathing the same air as His Holiness. So from that point, we'll be extremely fortunate. And then the most fortunate thing is if somebody can emulate His Holiness's the personality of compassion and the personality of the wisdom. Anybody who can mimic, who can emulate His Holiness's qualities, these are the most meritorious people. Okay, having said this, let us set the proper motivation for this program. And so the proper motivation, which involves three things. The first, the refuge field, visualize Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and particularly on this day, the Bodhicitta Recitations, the 8th century great Indian master, who made sure that, who was the guiding principle behind the making Buddhism, making the Buddhist teachings take root in Tibet. And then Guru Padmasambhava, who was the supporting Bodhicitta Recitations in establishing Buddhism in Tibet. And then the Tibetan king, who was actually commissioning all these things happening to making sure that the Buddha's teachings of compassion, the universal compassion and the wisdom actually take root in Tibet. And alongside all the great masters who are inspiration from the different traditions, Sakya, Kaikyu, Nyingma, Gelug, even from Chinese tradition and from Theravada tradition, all those masters who you see as a source of inspiration for your cultivating universal compassion and a wisdom. And that too, when you visualize them, visualize them as so loving, caring, and embracing. Next, Bodhicitta field. Visualize your two kind parents on the two sides, and all your family members, including children, and all the beings, human beings, animals, insects, hungry ghosts, god and goddesses, spirits, everyone in your own country, in the world, in the Milky Way galaxy, and in the entire universe. And the purpose of this practice is to awaken the hidden treasure within each one of us, commonly referred to as the Buddha nature or the Tathagata Garbha. Whether you're Buddhist or not, it doesn't matter. Everybody has this seed of perfection, see hidden treasure within us, the unraveling of which will make you experience total fearlessness and infinite happiness altogether. And how to awaken this? To awaken this, first we need to know why it is not awakened. It's not awakened yet because that potential is obscured by mental defilements. So our job is to remove the mental defilements like the gold when mixed with the mud. All the nature of the gold is to glow, but it doesn't glow because of it's being obscured by the mud. Our job is to remove the mud, let the gold manifest in its pure form, where it automatically, spontaneously, it glows. So how to do that? We need to resort to the remedies to overcome mental defilements. So what kind of remedies? Remedies twofold. Remedy one is the wisdom to cut the ignorance, given that the ignorance is the root of all these defilements. And this, the remedy of the wisdom must be complemented by very powerful enthusiasm, the motivation of the Bodhicitta, the desire to be awakened for the benefit of all sentient beings. So with this mind, just invoke the spirit that today is a great opportunity for me to repay the kindness of His Holiness the Dalai Lama in ways of offering the gift of my own compassion, of my own happiness, and sharing this happiness and the wisdom of happiness with all the Dharma sentient beings. With this mind, let's turn to page 3. And all the offline participants, you expected to have the books. Okay. And the online participants, you have the screen sharing with us. So with this mind, the last line, and we're going to read from there. Okay. So when we read these, because that we will not do any kind of explanation just by reading, expecting that everybody knows the meaning. Meanwhile, even though you know the meaning, but there are 3 ways of reading. There are 3 ways of doing that. Number 1, where the words flow, full stop. Number 2, the words flow and the meaning is reflected. Even though you know the meaning, doesn't mean that when the words flow, the meanings are reflected. You need to put effort to make sure that the meanings are reflected. Number 2, words flow, the meaning is reflected, and the experience is invoked. And in the case of the third, of course, it's not that easy. One requires a constant practice that the experience is invoked. But at least what we can do is we can do this, we can go for the second, where the words flow and the meaning is reflected so that the maximum benefit can be accrued by doing this, by doing so. Okay, with this in mind, let's read this. And imagine that you are leading this practice and all beings are joining us. And teach by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And teach by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And teach by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Okay, today maybe Dedenla, you would like to recite for us? You would like to read the recitation? Come, then you come here. Come with your question. Michael. Looks like Dedenla, maybe the youngest one here. We have the girl over there. Girl over there. How old are you? How old are you? How old are you? 24. Okay, you look like 18. Okay. Okay, good. Sit down. Please take a seat. Thank you. Okay. So today, Dedena will read to the reading, and when the actual process of the meditation part, I'll lead it. Okay. Dedena. Samye.
Samye Chudang Sogi Sonamla
Chanjo Bado Dane Gyabzu Chen Dage Jinso Gebe Sonamge Nola Penjir Sangye Tubara Sho Samye Chudang Sogi Chonamla
Chanju Padu Dani Gyapsoche Dagi Jinso Gebe Sonamki Dola Penje Sangye Tubara Sho Sangye Chudang Sogi Chonamla Chanju Padu Dani Gyapsoche Dagi Jinso Gipe Sonamki Dola Pinche Sanke Duparsho. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulation the practices of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practices of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practices of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Independent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness, and no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme amongst all teachers, the one who taught this peace which is freed of elaborations. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, wish to the knowledge of all lead hearers seeking pacification to complete peace, wish to the knowledge of past gods, those helping migrators to achieve the aims of the world, and through the possession of which help subduers expound a variety of teachings. The one who transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings, the teacher, Sugata, and protector, to you I make prostrations. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualization and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shine forth the forever noble light rays, to you, the Buddha, I make prostration. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings.
Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham tathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaya swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham tathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaya swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagat tesham chayo nirodha eva bhati mahashramanaya swaha.
Meaning of the Tenjanyingpan mantra. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation of the causes as well is taught by the great seer. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear light and non-composite. Such is the nectar-like Dharma I have discovered. Finding no one to fathom this teaching, in silence I will retire into the woods. Beyond utterance, thought, and expression is the perfection of wisdom, which is unborn, unceased, and has the nature of space. It is the object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas of the three times, I pay obeisance. The four seals of the Buddha's teaching. All composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are the nature of suffering. All phenomena are the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Transcending sorrow is peace. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dharma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha. The Guru is the source of everything wholesome. I go for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drums of Dharma, you liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the expanse of billions of eons. The Buddha does not wash the negativities of beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of suchness that beings are liberated. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. Instructions on parting from the four attachments. If you're attached to this life, you're not a spiritual practitioner. If you're attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you're attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there's grasping, you do not have the view. Page 14. Praise the Shakyamuni Buddha. To the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond the four destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of God and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offering, and go for refuge. When, O supreme amongst human, you were born on this earth, you paced out 7 strides, then said, I'm supreme in this world. To you who were wise then, I prostrate. With pure bodies formed supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, flame that blazes in the 3 world, winner of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With the supreme signs, face like a spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Drust feel like hue, the 3 worlds are not. Incomparable wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the Founder having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you the Tathagata I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dharma that pacifies I prostrate. Those who are liberated and also show the path to liberation, the holy feel qualified with realization, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you the Sangha I prostrate. Do not commit any non-virtuous action, perform only perfect virtuous action, subdue your mind thoroughly, this is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, a flame of lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud, see conditioned things as such. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all-seeing, subdue the four faults, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging and sickness and death. Page 29. The Heart Sutra, the Perfection of Wisdom Sutra. I prostrate to the Arya Triple Jam. Thus did I hear at one time the Buddha was dwelling on the mass of Vulture's mountain in Rajgira, together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Buddha was absorbed in the concentration on the categories of phenomena called profound illumination. Also at that time, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aryavalokiteshvara looked upon the very practice of the profound illumination of wisdom and beheld those 5 aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Then, through the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aryavalokiteshvara. How should any child of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom train? He said that, and the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aryavalokiteshvara said this to the Venerable Shariputra. Shariputra, any son of the lineage or daughter of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom should look upon it like this, correctly and repeatedly beholding those 5 aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Form is empty. Emptiness is form. Emptiness is not other than form. Form is also not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, composition of factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are empty, without characteristic, unproduced, unceased, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore, in emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no compositional factor, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no object of touch, and no phenomena. There's no I element, and so on up to and including no mind element, and no mental consciousness element. There's no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, and so on up to and including no aging and death, and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation, and path. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in the perfection of wisdom, the mind without obscuration, and thus without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, they reach the end point of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the 3 times also manifestedly completely awaken to unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment in reliance on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal to the unequal, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering should be known as truth, since it is not false. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is declared, Teata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhi Swaha. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva should train in the profound perfection of wisdom like that. Then the Buddha arose from the concentration and commended the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara, saying, well said, son of the lineage. It is like that, it is like that. One should practice the profound perfection of wisdom just as you have indicated. Even the Tathagatas rejoice. The Buddha having thus spoken, the Venerable Shaivati Putra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara, those surrounding in their entirety, along with the worlds of gods, humans, asuras, and the Gandhavas, were overjoyed and highly praised that spoken by the Buddha. This completes the Arya Bhagavati Prajanam Pramita Hidaya Sutra.
Yata Om Gate Gate Paragate
Sangate Bodhi
Swadhyata Om Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Swadhyata Om Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Swadhyata Om Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Swadhyata
Om Gate
Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Swaha.
By the teachings of the three supreme jewels possessing the power of truth, may inner and outer hindrances be transformed. May they be dispelled. May they be non-existent. May they be pacified. May all negative forces opposed to the Dharma be completely pacified. May the host of 80,000 obstacles be pacified. May we be separated from problems and conditions harmful to the Dharma. May all enjoyments be in accord with the Dharma. May auspiciousness and perfect happiness pervade this place now. Page number 35. Eight verses for training the mind. With a determination to achieve the highest aim for the benefit of all sentient beings, which surpasses even the wish-fulfilling gem, may I hold them dear at all times. Whenever I interact with someone, may I view myself as the lowest amongst all, and from the very depths of my heart, respectfully hold others as superior. In all my deeds, may I probe into my mind, and as soon as mental and emotional afflictions arise, as they endanger myself and others, may I strongly confront them and avert them. When I see beings of unpleasant character and those oppressed by strong negativities and suffering, may I hold them dear, for they are rare to find, as if I've discovered a jewel treasure. When others, out of jealousy, treat me wrongly with abuse, slander, and scorn, may I take upon myself the defeat and offer to others the victory. When someone whom I've helped or in whom I've placed great hopes mistreats me in extremely harmful ways, may I regard him still as my precious teacher. In brief, may I offer benefit and joy to all my mothers, both directly and indirectly. May I quietly take upon myself all hurts and pains of my mother. May all this remain undefined by the stains of the 8 mundane concerns, and may I, recognizing all things as illusion, devoid of clinging, be released from bondage. Lama Tsongkhapa's Lamrim Dedication Prayer, verse 1. From my 2 collections, vast as space that I've amassed, from working with efforts at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose mind's wisdom eyes is blinded by ignorance. Next page. 7-limb practice. Excerpts from the King of Prayers, the extraordinary aspiration for the practice of Samantabhadra. I bow down to the youthful Arya Manjushri, you, the Buddhas, the lions amongst humans, gone to freedom in the present, past, and future, in the worlds of 10 directions. To all of you, with body, speech, and sincere mind, I bow down. With the energy of aspiration for the Bodhisattva way, with a sense of deep respect and with as many bodies as atoms of the world. To all you Buddhas visualized as real, I bow down. On every particles are Buddhas numberless as particles, each amidst a host of bodhisattvas, and I am confident the sphere of all phenomena is entirely filled with Buddhas in this way. With infinite oceans of prayer for you and oceans of sound from the aspect of my voice, I sing the breathtaking excellence of Buddhas and celebrate all of you Sugatas. Beautiful flowers and regal garlands, sweet music, scented oils and parasols, sparkling light and sublime incense, I offer to you, the victorious ones, the Buddhas. Fine dress and fragrant perfumes, sandalwood power heaped high as Mount Meru, all wondrous offering in spectacular array, I offer to you, victorious ones. With transcendent offering, peerless and vast, and with profound admiration for all Buddhas, with strength of conviction in the Bodhisattva way, I offer and bow down to all victorious ones. Every harmful action I've done, with my body, speech, and mind, overwhelmed by attachment, anger, and ignorance, all these I openly lay bare before you. I lift up my heart and rejoice in all the merit of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in 10 directions, of solitary realizers, hearers still training, and those beyond, and of all ordinary beings. You who are the bright lights of the world in 10 directions, who have attained a Buddha's omniscience through the stages of awakening, all of you who are my guide, please turn the supreme wheel of Dharma. With palms together, I earnestly request, you who may actualize parinirvana, please stay with us for eons numberless as atoms of the world, for the happiness and well-being of all wanderers in samsara. Whatever slight merit I may have accumulated by making prostrations, offering, and confessing, rejoicing and requesting that the Buddhas stay and teach, I now dedicate all this for the full awakening of all beings. Page 40, short mandala offering. In this ground, anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the four continents, the sun, and the moon, I imagine this as a Buddha field and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure land.
O sajebe ge choshen do tang re ram le she nye re ge Sanye Shendo Me De Jogu Nanda Shela Chubara Shvo.
The four dharmas of Venerable Gampopa. May I be blessed that my mind is directed towards the Dharma. May I be blessed that my Dharma practice is on the proper path. May I be blessed that the path is freed of flaws. May I be blessed that the flaws are seen in the light of exalted wisdom. The four dharmas of Venerable Bhikshu Mahasattva. Becoming utterly frustrated with the ignorance that grasps at true existence, please bless me to generate genuine renunciation, seeing all aspects of samsara as viciously repulsive. Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with the precious bodhicitta that cherishes others more than myself. Please bless me to have an immaculate experience of the wisdom of emptiness that does not see even an atom of intrinsic reality, on the basis of understanding how things come into being by dependent origination through mere conditioning. Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with the precious wisdom of the non-duality of bliss and emptiness. Idam Guru Ratna Mandelakam Nijatyami. Page 42. The foundation of all good qualities by Lama Tsongkhapa. The foundation of all good qualities is the kind and perfect pure Guru. Correct devotion to him is the root of the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon him with great respect. Understanding that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once is greatly meaningful and is difficult to find again. Please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly, day and night, takes his essence. This life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After death, just like a shadow follows the body, the results of virtuous and non-virtuous karmas follow. Finding firm and definite conviction in this, please bless me always to be careful, to abandon even the slightest negativity and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Samsaric spenders are unsatisfying and unreliable. Seeking them is a door to all suffering. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate a strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Led by this pure thought, mindfulness, alertness, and great caution arise. The root of the teaching is keeping the Pratimoksha vows. Please bless me to accomplish the essential practice. Just as I have fallen into the sea of samsara, so have all mother migratory beings. Please bless me to see this trained in supreme bodhicitta and bear the responsibility of feeling migratory beings. Develop bodhicitta, but I don't practice the three types of morality. I will not achieve enlightenment. With my clear recognition of this, please bless me to practice the bodhisattva vow with great energy. Once I've pacified distraction to wrong objects and correctly analyzed the meaning of reality, please bless me to generate quickly within my mind stream the unified path of calm abiding and special insight. Having become a pure vessel by training in the general path, please bless me to enter the holy gateway of the fortunate ones, the supreme Vajra vehicle. At that time, the basis of accomplishing the two attainments is keeping pure vows in Samaya. As I have become firmly convinced of this, please bless me to protect these vows and pledges like my life. Then, having realized the importance of the two stages, the essence of Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy, never giving up the 4 sessions, please bless me to realize the teaching of the Holy Guru. Like that, may the Guru who showed the noble path and the spiritual friend who practice it have long lives. Please bless me to pacify completely all outer and inner hindrances. In all my lives, never separate from the perfect Guru, may I enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the qualities of the stages and path. May I quickly attain the stage of Vaishadhara. Make me say a mantra. Meaning of the mantra: You are Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of non-referential compassion, and Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom, as well as Vajrapani, destroyer of hordes of demons without exception. Tsongapa, crown jewel of the sages of the land of snow, Lobsang Dhapa, at your feet I make prostrations.
kama no santabe shamla sobande. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Nancy. Now we're doing the in Tibetan Tamje Nijoga Simkyeba, generating the mode of consummate yoga. For this, it involves four things. This is the what is to be seen as the best gift for His Holiness. The four things. Number one is shamatha meditation, single-pointed meditation. And number two, renunciation based on the practice of the four seals. Then next, the Bodhicitta practice based on the four immeasurables. And finally, the wisdom of emptiness. And then we take the aspiration Bodhisattva vow. Okay, so the 5 minutes ready of single-pointed meditation. And those of us who do not know how to do meditation or who never did a more systematic, the proper meditation before, we need to learn it. So here I see that most of us, we're already familiar with meditation. So 5 minutes, and particularly with the body posture, eyes not closed, eyes fortified, eyes half open, 45 degrees cast down, and the backbone upright, not leaning against support. Whereas if you have backache problem or knee problem, so forth, you're exempted. Otherwise, backbone upright, and these have a tremendous benefit in terms of maintaining a very rigorous state of the mind. And then the most important thing is identifying the errors of meditation twofold: mental laxity and excitement. Mental laxity is the inactivity of the mind, where the activity of the mind becomes lower. Your mind feels lethargic, heavy, sinking. There's one problem. And the other one is the overactivity of the mind, or in other words, reactivity of the mind, which is the mental excitement. And should any of these two things happen, you are expected to apply the remedies. And remedies likewise twofold: introspection, mindfulness. And the introspection is to once in a while keep an eye on your mind to see what your mind is doing. Is it actually meditating, or is it in a more relaxed state, or the reactive state of the excitement? And should you see that these things happen, then apply the mindfulness by bringing the mind back to the intended object of the meditation. Ready? 5 minutes. Next, renunciation, which will be done based on the 4 seals. Okay. So given that the renunciation, bodhicitta, and wisdom emptiness, they're primarily analytical meditation, our mind should be extremely active, while and the shamatha meditation is primarily, it is single point meditation to stop the reactivity of the mind. And now, while we stop the reactivity, we also learn to proactively engage in virtues. The proactivity must be encouraged, reactivity must be discouraged. So to balance these 2 things, we require shamatha meditation to stop the reactivity, and whereas the analytical meditation to encourage the proactivity. So these 2 should not be mixed up. Reactivity is destructive and proactivity must be encouraged. This will make your virtues very powerful, proactivity. So with this mind, the proactivity is developed through the analytical meditation. And all these practices, renunciation, bodhicitta, wisdom, emptiness, all these 3, they fall in the category of the encouraging the proactivity, and which falls in the category of the analytical meditation. Okay, so analytical meaning that you really need to proactively engage in the contemplations very systematically, very properly, not just haphazardly. So with this mind, instructions will be given, and what is expected is that each one of us will learn how to engage in the analysis, analytical, what are the steps to be followed to make sure that what we're doing is productive and meaningful. So with this in mind, the first, the renunciation. So as much as possible, try to invoke your experiences as the instructions be given. And later on, you expected, each one of us be expected to be able to do these practices on our own without having to depend on somebody else giving us the instructions. So this is also oftentimes referred to as the guided meditation. Ready? Renunciation. Renunciation is to renounce the miseries. It's not to renounce the happiness, to renounce the miseries. To renounce the miseries, we need to learn how to renounce the causes of the miseries. The Buddha taught, Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava, Hetum Tesham Tathagato Hyavatat. All these phenomena arise from the causes, and the causes are taught by the Tathagata. And how to bring an end to these causes as well is taught by the great seer. So with this in mind, the cause of miseries, what the Buddha taught, is summarized by Arya Nagarjuna. Ceasing common afflictions is nirvana. Common afflictions arise from conceptualization of inappropriate attention, which in turn arises from the elaboration of self-grasping ignorance, and the ignorance ceases through the wisdom of emptiness. Remembering this verse, we need to identify that all the root of the miseries boil down to ignorance. And the ignorance, while there are millions of kinds of ignorance, Buddha identified 4, which are particularly of great relevance to triggering the miseries within us. So what are these 4 kinds of ignorance? Ignorance misconceiving impermanent phenomena as permanent. Ignorance misconceiving impure things as pure. Ignorance misconceiving miseries as happiness, and ignorance misconceiving what is selfless nature as of selfhood. To counter these 4 kinds of ignorance, Buddha taught the 4 wisdoms. And the 4 wisdoms are reflected in the form of the first 3 lines of the 4 seals, and the fourth line is a resultant state. So the first, all composite things impermanent. Composite things refer to things which are composed of material physical parts or temporal parts in time. And what is constituted these things? The way in which physicists would speak of the physical material world as on the atomic level, there are constant influx of change.
This is exactly what the Buddha taught us. All composite things are impermanent. And impermanence is of two kinds, gross and subtle. Gross impermanence constituting impermanent phenomena whose continuum terminates. For example, 2024, nobody, no matter what you do, you cannot stop 2024 from coming to an end. It invariably comes to an end on its own. There's one class of impermanent phenomena. In other words, class of impermanent phenomena whose continuum stops. Whereas the subtle impermanence constitutes the momentariness involved. But it's very important for us to contemplate on the gross impermanence. For example, the beautiful days that you experience when you were a small child, little girl, little boy, beautiful days that you experience, they're all gone. And beautiful days that you spend with your parents when the parents themselves were so young, full of energy, and even those days all gone. For many of us, our time with the parents themselves is all just a fading memory. Beautiful moments, but they're fading memories. Even the parents are all gone, and people crave to see the sunset. It's just the illustration, reminder of impermanence. So beautiful. Within the span of few minutes, gone. Beautiful waves on the ocean, very placid ocean, very serene ocean. Again, to be followed by very ferocious waves, tsunamis, and so forth. And beautiful complexions of yourself. And the agility of your body, again, is a matter of time. Once upon a time, those of us in the 50s, when you were in your teenage, and now they're gone. Today, teenager, in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, 15 years' time, all this agility of the body, complexion, the tenderness of the body, they all will be gone. If you don't believe in this, intellectually we can understand it. Experientially, we find it a little hard to digest this reality. Look at the ruins of the forts, fortresses, castles, and so forth. These are the proofs. Once upon a time, ordinary people, they even did not dare to go close by these they're being heavily guarded by the soldiers, bodyguards, and so forth. Now, where are these people who once upon a time lived there with so grandly, elegantly, where? They're all gone. Now, the mummies of the pharaohs, of the kings. Well, in those days, people did not even dare to get the audience. People do not get even the opportunity to have the audience, have a glimpse of this. Now, the archaeologists, they play with these bones. Whose bone is this? This is exactly impermanence. And it's not that they're unfortunate, we are very fortunate. No, it's a matter of time. With a span of next 50 years, 100 years, 150 years time, not even a single 8 billion human beings will survive them. That's for sure. This is reality. So this, we need to contemplate in this. These will make our life very realistic, will make our life very easy and beautiful. And then many of the unnecessary stress, anxiety, and so forth. Think of the future, future, future. Yes, we have to plan, think of the future. But at the same time, not think of the future in terms of your future lives. Seeing as though like this life is so eternal. That is the one which unnecessarily creates the loop of miseries, endless misery, stress, anxiety, and so forth. Whereas if you see that life is just impermanent, try your best just to make the most of your life existing this impermanent. One day, like the kings of the past, our story will come to an end. The chapter, the closing of the chapter will happen. At that point, my career, whether accomplished, not accomplished, whatever, finish. Everything will disappear. Yes, contemplate on this, your life will become very beautiful and easy. You'll not be stressed. So, and also that you will dedicate certain amount of time preparing for your future lives, which is so wise. This wise approach. This is known as the all-encompassing impermanent. And the impermanent phenomenon we see as the gross impermanent, whose continuum terminates, is very important to contemplate on the gross impermanence. Once you get a feel of this, then the feeling of the hollowness of what is known as the luxury or the glamours of the samsara, you'll see them as so hollow and meaningless. But it doesn't mean that we have to just let go of your life and then don't think of the future. No, this is not the point. Point is, make the most of this life to make sure that you lead a very decent life. At the same time, and remember that we can't expect perfection in this life, that things are impermanent, and the wise people prepare for next. So this impermanence, the gross impermanence that you see, is possible only if there's a subtle change happening, which is known as a subtle impermanence. What is subtle impermanence? Subtle impermanence is the momentariness involved with all the impermanent phenomena. Gross impermanence is possible because of involvement of the subtle impermanence. So we don't say the gross impermanence is subtle impermanent, is not, but gross impermanence has subtle impermanence within it. For example, I'm not hands, but I have hands. So this is the distinction that we're going to make. So once we get a good understanding of the gross impermanence, and then feeling that the life, if we invest fully on this life, just forgetting about the future times, then the contemplating this impermanence will reduce our tension and make sure that, okay, as long as you did this in life, Purusha's life, then we don't really need to be so perfect to the extent that at the cost of the beautiful life. So this is a disaster. So therefore, say allocating a certain amount of time preparing for your future lives, that's very meaningful. So what is the subtle impermanence? Subtle impermanence, a momentariness involved in all the impermanent phenomena. So it's very important for us to contemplate on the subtle impermanence after contemplating on the gross impermanence. And the impermanence that you see within a span of, for example, like you are in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever age. So we see that there's a certain amount of change happen physically and mentally. And this change that you see within a span of like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years is possible only if the change is happening on the yearly basis, year by year. And the change that you see within a span of 1 year is possible only if the change is happening on the monthly basis, weekly basis, daily basis, hourly basis, minute by minute basis, second by second basis, millisecond by millisecond basis. So in short, the change that you see obviously, the very obvious change that you see within the span of 10 years, 20 years, 30 years is possible if the change is happening on the millisecond level. Millisecond level changes so fast. This is how all composite phenomena are moving so fast. Like the second hand of the clock. It moves tick, tick, tick. Now press the timer, press the stopwatch on a mobile. You see digits that move so fast, way, way, way faster than the intermittent sound of the sound produced by the second hand tick, tick, way, and the millisecond moves fast. This is how our body is changing. This is how our mind is changing. This is how your parents are changing. This is how the world around you are changing. Yes, this is the reality. This is known as the all-encompassing impermanent. This is how the world has changed. Very scary. Yes, of course, this reality. Our eyes are so gross. It's so gross. It's so limited. Not having the potential to see the deeper reality of this impermanence. Yes. By contemplating on this, subjecting, gradually taking a very slow process of reducing the change you receive within the span of the 10 years, 20 years, 30 years to a yearly change happen on a yearly basis, monthly basis. Gradually, you try to reduce to subtler span of time. Then you will feel the gravity of this subtle impermanence, which is very scary. Yes. Okay. So it's so scary to think of the impermanent reality of all complex phenomena. Yes. So if this is the reality of impermanence, so then it's like somebody throwing me into a very fast moving train. Yes, exactly. So what do you feel? Unknown person, a very strong person, picks you up and throws you in very fast moving. What do you feel? Very scary. Why? Faster the train moves, more the fear. Why? Because we don't know where this train is taking us. It moves so fast. Our bodies move so fast, changes so fast. And who decides where this train is taking you? It decided by the driver. And the driver is your mother. No doubt it will take you to the picnic spot. But unfortunately, if the driver is under the dictate of the terrorists or the terrorists themselves, it will only take us to more miseries and pains. In our case, the driver's mind, and unfortunately, this mind is dictated by the worst of the contaminations, which is self-grasping ignorance. So, as long as our mind is dictated by the worst of the contaminations, it will only take us to miseries. This is what the Buddha indicated as all contaminated things are suffering nature. Where our mind is contaminated by afflictions, particularly by ignorance, it will only take us to miseries. What kind of miseries? Suffering change, and pervasive conditioned suffering. And in fact, contemplating on the miseries, when we go through miseries, it's so acutely painful, overwhelmingly painful, agonizingly painful. The moment the miseries temporarily subsides, again, if we forget the miseries, this is what happened. So it's so important for us to contemplate on this reality. All composite things, all contaminated things are suffering nature. And in fact, for us, we all have shed tears in our life in one way or the other, one time or the other. We shed tears, and tears are nothing. The tears of the manifestation of your sadness, deep anguish, sadness, helplessness, so forth. Yes, we have shed tears so many times. Yes. And these tears are these are the reflections of our miseries. And one moment of miseries, one moment such an acute tragedy of the miseries is good enough to nullify all the past moments of this merriments, festivities, birthday celebrations, and New Year celebrations, so forth. One moment of such misery is good enough. The pain, the loss of pain of the loss in the endurance, and so forth, is good enough just to let you feel that all what you've experienced as joys and merriments in the past, they're all like so gloomy, shallow, meaningless. Yes, this is true. So is there a way out? When will these problems stop? When will these tears stop? These tears will never stop on their own. 2024, although we do not do anything to stop it, it stops invariably. When will these tears stop? No. Impermanence is of subtle, gross and subtle. And within the gross ones, we see that the impermanence whose continuum stops, and then the impermanence whose continuum never stops. For example, like your mind, it never stops. It keeps going. Although it's impermanent, but it never stops. There's third category of impermanence. Impermanence can be classed into two groups or three groups. If you have three groups, there's a third category whose continuum will never stop until we put a concerted effort. Okay, so your tears, your suffering, your pains, anxiety, and so forth, these will never stop. These will never stop until we put a concerted effort. What kind of effort is required? So for that, we require the kind of effort to counter the root of these miseries. Root of misery is contamination, the worst of which is self-grasping ignorance. So what is the counterforce to overcome this self-grasping ignorance? It is none other than wisdom of emptiness. What is this wisdom of emptiness? Okay, let's quickly, given that there are many people who are already exposed to wisdom of emptiness, I'm going to give a quick, the instruction on the emptiness and try to convert this. Those of us who are new, don't worry. Just try to follow as much as you can. Don't worry. Okay, what are you doing? I'm meditating. What is your body doing? My body is in a meditative state. Okay, how does this body appear to you? It's like a dream, or it's like a dream which is empty of the reality, just as you see the dream goes as. Do you wake up and you see dream goes empty of being real? Likewise, you see yourself and the whole world as like a dream or as so solid objectified there. Of course, so solidly objectified there. Okay, this belief that this I and likewise any other things exist so objectively there, this is known as self-grasping ignorance. Okay, do you mean to say this ignorance? Yes. And how do you know that this ignorance is not a valid mind? Okay, if the self does exist the way it appears, so object real, remember what Arjuna taught. If the mirage were to be water, but not those close by the mirage see water. With a similar token of reasoning, if the self were identified as I would exist objectively, why don't I see the self as a go close to the object? So now this mind which goes close to the object is known as ultimate analysis. Subjecting this self to ultimate analysis, let's see whether the self can sustain this analysis. And the subjecting self to ultimate analysis, we go closer to the self, and we see a very thin layer of the skin, your skin. Of course, this is not identified as intrinsically as a self. Behind that, the fatty tissues, behind that, muscles, cartilages, alongside the whole skeleton, the heart, the lungs, the liver, the pancreas, intestine, and so forth. All these solid parts constitute element of earth. And element of earth is not identified as subjectively as one, as this self, as this person. Yes. Element of water, 4 liters of blood, which is pumped in and out by the heart to different parts of the body. Of course not. Element of fire, 2,600 joules of energy the body has. Of course, that is not identified as subjectively as the self. Element of air, 4.6 liters of air that you breathe in and out through your lungs. Of course, that is also not identified as intrinsically as the self. Element of space. 99.99% of our body is vacuum. The space occupied electrons, protons, neutrons, so small in comparison with the space between the electrons and the nucleus. Okay, so essentially we see that we are like vacuum, but I'm not a vacuum. I'm not space. I'm a solid person. Okay, then element of consciousness, my mind. People can see me, people cannot see my mind. And also that I'm a male, I'm a female, I'm a non-male, I'm a non-female. And gender is posited on the purely based on the body and my mind. That's not the gender. Gender is posited on the body. So therefore, even from that point of view as well, this mind of the consciousness is also not me. Okay, now you have come too close to the object. Where do you see as the self? Too close to this self. Where is the self? Besides 6 elements, there's nothing there to be identified as a self. Yes, that's true. Now tell me, which of the 6 elements to be identified as intrinsically as the self, one with the self? None. If none, remove the 6 elements and see if the self exists as intrinsically different from the 6 elements. The moment the 6 elements are removed, nothing is left there. Okay, now tell me, from the object, where is the self, which you earlier identified as I? Nowhere to be seen. I'm discovering that nowhere the self identified as I to be existing as objectively as intrinsic from the object. Nowhere. Stay in this experience for a while. Wow, these experiences are so powerful, so precious, so powerful. But what's the benefit of this practice? Yes, just as this self dissolves in the experience of this emptiness, like all your sorrows, anxiety, stress, anguish, lamentation, bewilderment, and so confusion, and so forth, if you subject to them to same analysis, ultimate analysis, we come to realize, we come to discover that they are all like dreams. Just you go through a nightmare of meeting with the ghost in the dream. The moment you wake up, the fear instantly dissolves, discovering that the dream ghost was just empty of being real. It's emptiness. If this were the case, all our miseries, stress, anxiety, anguish, bewilderment, and so forth, they're likewise subjected to the same analysis. We see that in the experience of this emptiness, they all dissolve. Your sorrow is transcended. Sorrow transcends, and the opposite of sorrow, the peace dawns within us. Wow, this is amazing. Just in this experience of the emptiness where all your sorrows are transcended, and make a very strong commitment. May I forever experience this emptiness where all my sorrows are transcended. This is the ultimate understanding of the renunciation. Stay in this experience for a while. Okay, good. So this is what the Buddha identified as transcendent sorrow is absolute peace. Now slowly come out of the practice, we move to the Bodhicitta. You ready? For the Bodhicitta, because of the constraint of time, we will do just the first two immeasurables. And again, they oftentimes people say that the practice of immeasurables, what is expected of us to contemplate, and versus how my natural thinking, these two don't really resonate. But they don't go along well. What we are contemplating doesn't really resonate with my natural thinking. Yes, this is true. You don't really feel that compassion. Don't worry. Because we don't feel it, we require training, we require practice. It's like practice music. Even though initially, even though you mimic your teachers, pressing different keyboard, the keys of the keyboard, you're expected to produce music, but noise comes out. Although you are mimicking a teacher, it doesn't really resonate with the music, but through constant practice, this noise gradually subsides to become a beautiful music. This is known as a practice. So with the practice, only then our mind will start to expand, and then your genuine joy and happiness starts to dawn within us. And this is a gift that you are offering His Holiness, and this is a gift that we are offering to ourselves in the form of you experiencing the infinite happiness. Ready? Immeasurable compassion. How good would it be that all my dear Mother sentient beings are freed from suffering and the cause of suffering. Cause of suffering primarily consisting of self-grasping ignorance, along with its offshoots in the form of inappropriate attention, afflictions, contaminant karmas. Along with this self-referential ego, self-centered attitude. May all my dear Mother sentient beings be freed from suffering and the causes of suffering. The Buddhas or Bodhisattvas, witnessing that you're making such a courageous commitment, they're so happy. It is like the mother, after all these many years of raising children, today the eldest daughter, just age 12, and eldest son, age 11, two of them come to the mother, telling the mother that we're already grown up, please rest well.
And we already grown. We'll take care of all our siblings. And the mother couldn't believe her eyes and ears. This is exactly what is happening to all Bodhisattvas. Seeing that you make such courage commitment to take all the responsibility of freeing the beings from suffering and the cause of suffering over your own shoulder. The Bodhisattvas are so happy and pleased. This happiness and the joy invokes their compassionate minds to send forth nectars, very soothing lights towards you and all demonstration beings. They are mere touch of lights and nectars, but the bodies beings yours, washes of all the miseries, all the cause of miseries, from the demons to sentient beings in yourself. And you witnessing such a miracle is happening to all the demonstration beings. You're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with relief. Immeasurable compassion, immeasurable loving kindness. How good would it be that all my demonstration beings are endowed with happiness and the cause of happiness. May all my dear mother sentient beings be endowed with happiness and the cause of happiness. I'll take the responsibility that all my dear sentient beings are endowed with happiness and the cause of happiness. Cause happiness primarily consisting of the most beautiful mind of the Bodhicitta, wishing to become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings, and the most fearless mind for the wisdom to see that everything is like a dream. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, witnessing that you're making such a courageous commitment, the intense happiness and proud of you, this happens and pride within them invoke their compassionate minds to send forth nectars, the soothing lights towards you and all sentient beings. The mere touch of lights and nectars with the body space yours instills in all happiness and the causes of happiness in amongst the sentient beings yourself. And you witnessing such a miracle is happening to all the sentient beings. You're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with the relief. Underscoring all the four principles is unconditional love. Stay in this unconditional love for a while. Imagine that you look in the eyes of each of the sentient beings with incredible love and affection, to the extent that each one of them feels himself so special in your eyes. With folded hands, let us make a Bodhicitta commitment 3 times together. The most beautiful mind in this whole universe. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. Every time we make this commitment, a knot of the selfishness, self-centered attitude, a knot, extremely strong knot, is constantly, every time we take this as Bodhisattva vow, the knot is untied, one knot is untied every time. Of course, there are innumerable knots there of the selfishness, and they're untied. And gradually, over time, you'll feel that your mind is expanding. As the knots become less, you will feel that your mind is expanding. And over time, you'll feel that, okay, this is the kind of mind which is so beautiful, yet I never experienced that before. One day it'll happen to us. Okay. But this beautiful mind of the Bodhicitta, which wishes to become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. When you say become Buddha, doesn't mean Buddhism. It means you're awakening your full potential, awakening your hidden treasure. This is the meaning of the Buddha. Is a Sanskrit word. It means awakening your hidden treasure of the fearlessness and infinite happiness. Slowly transform this mind of the Bodhicitta into a spotless, clean, moon disk, pure white moon disk, horizontally sitting on the heart. Okay, this is amazing that you made such courageous commitment to become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. But remember that no matter how much you squeeze a handful of sand, no oil comes out. Yes, I know that. I'm not like a handful of sand. I'm like a handful of sunflower seeds. I do have the potential for Buddhahood, for awakening. I do have that. Is known as the Tathagata Garbha, the hidden treasure within me. If that is the case, how come that it is not awakened since time immemorial till today? Yes, again, it's all because that till today I'm being deceived by the two demons, self-grasping, ignorant, self-centered attitude. And today I'm disillusioned by these two demons, and now discovered that these two are not my friends. These two are, I thought these were the best of my friends. Today I'm just disillusioned to discover that these are the demons. I'm going to do everything to exterminate these two demons so that Buddha energy within me will be awakened. What are you going to do to exterminate these two demons? I'm going to resort to a very powerful remedy. What is that remedy? Remedy lies in the wisdom of emptiness. What is the wisdom of emptiness? Okay, quickly remember the emptiness meditation, wisdom emptiness meditation, which you did as the third of the four seals. Okay, what are you doing? I'm meditating. Okay, just see, how does this person appear to you, who you identify as I? Objectively real or subjectively real? Just subjectively coming, objectively is empty. How? Of course, so objectively real. This is self-grasping ignorance. And how do you know that this ignorance? Remember what Arjuna taught. If the mirage were to be water, are not those close by the mirage see water? With a similar tone of reasoning, if this person who identified as I but exists objectively, why don't I see this person as I go close to the object? Okay, now let us go close to this object. And as we did earlier, we end up seeing the six elements: earth, water, fire, air, space, and consciousness. Now tell me, which of six elements is to be identified as objectively as the self, as I? None. If none, remove the six elements to see if the self does exist as subject real, as different from the six elements. Remove the six elements, what happened? Nothing is left there. This is what I'm discovering. Now tell me, you have come too close to the object, subjecting the self to ultimate analysis. Where is the self now? Nowhere to be seen. This is what I'm discovering. Since experience, the space like emptiness, where meditative experience of the space like emptiness, where the self just dissolves in the experience of ultimate analysis. When the self dissolves, doesn't mean the self is empty. Self, whether it is empty or not, is decided by the conventional analysis. But the self not being the existent in our ultimate analysis, the meaning of the self to be empty of objective reality, it is not the meaning of the self being non-existent. It's the meaning of the self being objectively non-existent. So this distinction must be made that the self is existent, but not objectively existent. So this analysis, ultimate analysis, discovers that self is empty of objective existence. Okay, self does exist, but it does not exist objectively. Okay, stay in this experience. Objectively, it's empty. Stay in this experience for a while. Slowly transform this amazingly fearless mind. And this mind is so fearless. The moment this mind dawns in you in its full experience, all the fears drop. All the tears drop. Anxiety drops. It's amazing. Slowly transform this amazingly fearless mind of the wisdom of emptiness into a spotlessly clean, thumb-sized white vajra, vertically sitting at the heart, at the vertically sitting at the hub of the moon disk, at the center of the moon disk at the heart. Okay, now you have the blaze of the non-dual bodhicittas. It's amazing. You have the moon, symbolic of the conventional bodhicitta, which is the most beautiful mind in this whole universe, wishing to become Buddha awakened for the benefit of sentient beings. And Vajra, symbolic of the ultimate bodhicitta, the most fearless mind that exists in the universe, the non-dual wisdom of the Arya Bodhisattvas is amazing. Okay. It's amazing now that these two will guarantee that you are self-grasping, ignorant, self-centered attitude. Otherwise, Or in other words, the two mental defilements, afflictive obscuration and counter obscuration, are going to be exterminated completely. Yes, that's amazing. Meanwhile, don't forget your two parents, your all the family members, including children, all the other sensitive are suffering terribly. Yes, invoke very strong compassion to all the beings. This compassion invokes the Vajramuni into heart to multiply infinite number of times. Share one side of the Vajramun at the heart of your mother, one side at the heart of your father, one side with each one of family members, including children, and anyone you know in your life who passed away, who's so close to you, and who passed away, or who are sick, who are hospitalized, think of them, and they share them, particularly with these people. Vajramun, this best way of performing puja for them. This is the best way. Likewise, visualize the same thing to all at the heart of all the sentient beings that you're sharing the same Vajramun with all the beings at the hearts. Amazing. Meanwhile, let us not forget that the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, they're watching us. So why not? We request all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, we request all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas to be the guest and witness to our undertaking the ceremony of taking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow. As you're making this request, let us slowly stand up to make 3 prostrations. All Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, imagine that the all sentient beings are joining you in this making prostrations. Okay, see if you can sit on the right knees. And let us turn to page 50. Page 50, page 50. Okay. So now thus far, what we've done is laying the very firm, stable foundation. And now we are taking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow. And taking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow does not require you to be Buddhist. It's not necessary. And that as long as you truly appreciate not to be harmful to somebody else, and to be, if possible, to be kind, helpful, and compassionate towards others. And if not, at least not harm others. This much, if you feel that you can do, and that too, if you can try your best to follow these 2 things, then you're entitled to take this aspiration Bodhisattva vow. It does not require you to be a Buddhist. Okay, so with this in mind, I'm going to explain there are 3 verses there. Okay, and I'm going to quickly explain the meaning of this. And the most important thing is that meanings must be reflected. So that determines how much. For example, some people, they work like 7, 8, like 10, 12 hours a day manual work, and so much hardship, but what the income that they get is so less. And whereas some people just put a signature there, this whole the turnover of like millions of dollars happening. So likewise, is the more as we contemplate on meanings of what we are reading, then the benefit is just 1,000 times more than doing the same practice, but without contemplative meanings. So the meanings, contemplative meanings is so important. So with this mind, I'm going to explain this. The first, it's that this journey that I'm going to uncover this hidden treasure, unravel the hidden treasure with myself, hidden treasure, by removing all the mental dirt and thereby becoming to what is known as the fully awakened one, and in other words, to become Buddha. So, because this journey is something which we have never undertaken ourselves before, so we need incredibly great support, and the greatest of support that you can think of is the Triple Gem. So the first line says, "I'll go for refuge to the Triple Gem." Then the next is that this journey involves the road, and the road, if the road is blocked by the boulders and the fallen trees and so forth, again we cannot undertake the journey successfully. So, and the road is none other than your own mind, and your mind must be cleared of the boulders or the fallen trees like mental defilements, like negativities, anger, attachment, jealousy, and so forth, and negative karmas which we did. We need to clear them. How to clear them? One of the most effective ways by which to do so is by confessing negativities. So the second line says, I confess negativities individually. Now the road is clear, but if the car doesn't have the fuel, again, there's a problem. So the car is none other than your own mind, and this mind must have the inner fuel of the virtues. And how to accumulate so much of virtues within a short span of time is by rejoicing in the virtues of others, rejoicing in the virtues of yourself, Bodhisattvas. So third line says, I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. Now the road is clear and the car has enough fuel. What kind of journey are you going to undertake? And this journey, I'm going to take a journey of enlightenment to awaken my hidden treasure. The last line says, I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. Okay, let's say the 3 times together, wholeheartedly, and imagine that you are leading this practice and all beings are joining you. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. And the next 2 verses then is begin by the invoking Buddha, the blessings of Buddhas, Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas to be here to you. And the first verse is that who in the history of humanity succeeded in his journey? Looking back at the history of humanity, we see 2,500 years ago, there was a prince by the name Prince Siddhartha, and he succeeded. How did he succeed in his journey? By him creating 2 factors. The first factor is a factor of the motivation, very strong motivation to become Buddha for the manifold demonstration beings. And having generated this bodhicitta, then he actually, to materialize this aspiration, he engaged in the Bodhisattva practices, 6 perfections, 4 perfections, making total 10. So if this is how he succeeded, then the second verse says, I will also follow his footsteps. I will also create these 2 factors. I'll also generate very strong motivation bodhicitta, and the factor of the bodhicitta as a motivation. And then to materialize this aspiration, I'll create the second factor, engage in bodhisattva practices. So once you make this the commitment, let us try best, you and I, all of us, let us try best that in our life, we try not to harm others, and as much as possible to render service, benefit, at least a smile, a genuine smile and compassion with others. And if possible, if we can engage in the 6 perfections of the Bodhisattva practices. For this, we have to identify what these 6 are and try best to go into the nuances of these divisions and engage in these practices. Okay, with this mind, again, let us reinforce all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas with us, and that you are leading this practice. You like a little girl or little boy, very responsible child. For the first time in your life, you're making public appearance on behalf of your school, and your parents are so proud of you. They leave whatever they have to do that day, they leave behind to join the audience, waving their hands to you. And this is exactly what you're doing here. And you, as a very responsible child, you bring with you all your siblings to also take part in this program. And this is exactly what you're doing. You bring all the sentient beings as your siblings in this taking the Bodhisattva vow to take the journey of the fearlessness and the journey of the infinite happiness, stop all the tears of the pains of samsara. So you are leading this practice and all beings are joining us. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the amount of Bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the amount of Bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully train the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the amount of Bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise, for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the amount of Bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully train the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the amount of Bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise, for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the amount of Bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully train the Bodhisattva practices. Feel the joy of a heaven received aspirant Bodhisattva vow, and imagine that your mother, after all the many years of receiving complaints from the school principal that your daughter is so naughty, your son is so naughty, and today's your school principal comes, and again the mother is very apprehensive. What kind of complaints? School principal, no, we came here to congratulate you. The mother could not believe her eyes and ears. What for? That your little daughter and little son, both of them are appointed the best of the students of this school of this year. The mother couldn't believe her eyes and ears. This is exactly what is happening to all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. They're so proud of you today. After all these innumerable times, that they only wish that we are freed from miseries by staying away from the cause of miseries. On the contrary, we always embrace, chase after the cause of miseries, and then constantly suffer the pains of samsara. And then the Buddhas, they always wish that we have experienced the abundance of happiness by embracing the virtues. On the contrary, we shun the virtues, and the way we destroy your enemies, and thereby we constantly remain deprived of the happiness. But today what you did is something so different, and they really felt extremely happy today. So this is exactly what happens to all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. As such, that this joy, incredible joy and happiness all the Buddhas feel, invoke the Vajra moon at their hearts to multiply infinite number of times. Like rain shower, these innumerable replicas of Vajra moon, they descend to merge with the one that visualized at the heart of your heart, thereby become a non-dual, stabilized, and blessed. Likewise, all the replicas of Vajra moon from Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, they descend like rain shower, descend merge with the one that visualized at the heart of your mother, at the heart of the father, at the heart of each one of family members, including children, and each of sentient beings here in your own country, in the world, in the Milky Way galaxy, and then in the entire universe. Thereby become non-dual, stabilized, and blessed. Is amazing. Is amazing. So what you did today, as His Holiness indicated, that this is the best gift that we can possibly think of making to His Holiness. And today you made this on His Holiness' birthday. Whole year long, we are celebrating His Holiness' birthday anniversary. And today you made this in conjunction with the Zamling Chisang, the World Festival Day. And also that the best way by which to repay kindness of your parents, repay kindness of all of the sentient beings, this best way. And today you made this offering, you made this gift to all the sentient beings. Is amazing. And of your life, the Buddha's Bodhisattvas made it very clear that the one moment of practice of compassion far excels the gift of the whole universe filled with gems, golds, diamonds, silver, and so forth, and offered to Buddhas Bodhisattvas. If this were to be the case, what I mentioned of our having taken the aspiration Bodhisattva today, where the confluence of the two important events. One, the birth anniversary of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the son and the ambassador of compassion, champion of compassion, and the light of the whole world, his birth anniversary. and the Zamling Chisang, the the prayer festival. So on this occasion, you made this offering to all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas to this practice. There's nothing greater offering than this, and today you made this offering. It's amazing. And of your life, we see that there's nothing greater purpose and meaning than this. And today you have given such a meaning to your life. It's amazing. So with this experience, what happens is that your heart keeps expanding. As the heart expands, your happiness expands. And all these wonders are happening, all these three wonders are happening because of the blessings of all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas. As a gesture of thanking all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas, that is again, along with all the sentient beings, let us again stand up to make three prostrations as a gesture of thanking all Buddhist Bodhisattvas. Okay, please take your seats. Okay. Now let us turn to page 51. Let's say this verse 3 times together. Page 51. Page 51. Chiller. Tanchi verse chiller. Number the last page, last number page number 10. Nagarang page number 10. The pet matrosas. Chunjusut. Ah. Page 51 lay. Page option haji. Tanji tiki tea taran re. Tanji jiwa. Versumdi. Tiki tea shu chingi jabr. PDF jam chujire win sare. PDF jin chujire wur. Tada chujire tada. Wale mare. Kang re. PDF chujire wungota. Page number 7 de. Option haji isle. Lela buyer on is in the chunjusut maga wa page number tada. Page kasurdo. Rayana. Tumundo. Auta digi jedre. Di jedre. Page nins jabr. Page nins jabr. Di tea dara ya tanda. Rayana kon sita ite. Tumundo. Ta di tea. Ta dingon re. Di ma drotas. Ma drotas. Yes. That is this. Oh, de. Tar. Okay.
good. Page 51 for the offline participants, page 51. Page 51. Okay, let's recite 3 times together. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious Bodhicitta even in the course of my life. Okay, so one thing that I may add here is that when I say may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha, given that we are doing this in conjunction with His Holiness's birth anniversary commemoration, so in our mind, we may always be guided by the compassionate Buddha, by His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the compassionate Buddha. If this is how we think, then it will build a connection with His Holiness. Even in the future lifetimes, that we will have connection, we'll meet with His Holiness, and we will be constantly under the shadow of His Holiness. This is so important. Otherwise, the moment we go into the wrong hands, then people really go off the track. So therefore, to be with His Holiness, to be guided by His Holiness, this is a great, great, great privilege and a great merit. So, but as we recite this, may I be guided by the compassion Buddha, just think of His Holiness, that you be guided by, that each one first be guided by His Holiness. Okay, let's read this 3 more times. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious Bodhicittas even in the course of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious Bodhicittas even in the course of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious Bodhicittas even in the course of my life. In order to further increase this Bodhicitta from now on, those with discernment who has recently seized and awakened the mind of Bodhicitta in this way should highly praise in the following manner. Today, my life is borne fruit. Having well obtained this human existence, I've been born in the family of the Buddha and now one of Buddha's children. Thus, whatever actions I do from now on must be in accord with the family. Never shall I disgrace or pollute this noble and unsullied race. Just like a blind man discovering a jewel in a heap of rubbish, likewise, by some coincidence, the awakening mind has been born within me. It is a supreme ambrosia that overcomes the suffering of death. It is the inexhaustible treasure that eliminates all poverty in the world. It is a supreme medicine that quells the world's disease. It is a truth that shelters all beings wandering and tired on the path of conditioned existence. It is a universal bridge that leads to freedom from unhappy states of birth. It is a dawning moon of mind that dispels the torment of disturbing conceptions. It is a great sun that finally removes the mystic ignorance of the world. It is a quintessential butter from the churn of the Dharma. For all those guests traveling on the path of conditioned existence, who wish to experience abundance of happiness, this will satisfy them with joy and it shall place them in supreme bliss. Today, in the presence of all the protectors and by the world to be guests at a festival of temple and ultimate delight, may gods, demigods all be joyful. Okay, so now dedication prayer. Let us do a quick dedication prayer here. No doubt that on this very special day, we accumulate so much of merit by taking the aspiration Buddhas of the vow and the merit that we've gathered. Let us dedicate this, number one, and that His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the true source of joy and happiness of the world today, the true leader of the whole world, to lead from the darkness of ignorance, darkness of the narrow-mindedness to the light of the freedom, light of the compassion, light of the universal embrace and harmony, and that His Holiness lives long and that His wishes be fulfilled spontaneously. And let us also pray that the whole world, all these wars, all the border tensions, they all subside and they subside everywhere, and that people can take a fresh breath of air of peace. Let's pray that the people, they gain the sanity, they gain the wisdom, where the anger and self-referential ego, they all subside and the world is freed from the clutches of the darkness of the tyranny. May the source of happiness and joy, the Buddha's teachings of compassion, Buddha's teachings of the wisdom of the interdependency, wisdom, understanding, interdependency, may this teaching thrive in the minds of all sentient beings. With this in mind, let's recite the following verses together.
I dedicate the merits thus gathered towards the realization that is in the prayers of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of 3 times, and to the upholding of the doctrine of scripture and insight, and all lives through the force of this merit, never separate from the 4 wheels of the Mahayana vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect in the 2 stages, from matriculations, vast space that have amassed, from working with effort at this practice for a really length of time, may have become the shield-wielding Buddha for all those whose minds were minds blinded by ignorance. Okay, for the online, we're trying to look for this praise to Buddha Shakyamuni, and for the offline, we don't have this. So the offline, many of you know how to recite this, but just listen to us and join us if you can. Okay. Let's say this together. Invoking the blessings of Buddha Shakyamuni, that is compassion. And there's wisdom in the spreads everywhere in the world. So there's all these unnecessary conflicts and the tension and the animosity amongst each other, domestic violence, so forth, they all subside, and everybody get the sanity, get the wisdom to see things properly, and that the world becomes one family. Tuje shage rizo chon shenge meto dege bonjomba serge numbo tabo jebe ko shage gebo kela cha se no o mone mone Mahamona Yeswa Om Mone Mone Mahamona Yeswa Tavge Tuje Ravana Keriso Chon Shenge Meto Tege Bonjomba Serge Lumbo Tabo Jebe Ko Shage Gebo Kela Chase Om Mone Mone Mahamona Yeswa Om Mone Mone Mahamona Yeswa Tavge Shagere Chon Shenge Meto Dege Bonjomba Serge Lumbo Tabo Jebe Ko Shage Gebo Kela Chase No Oh Om Muni Muni Mahamunaya Swaha. 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 Okay, thank you. Just for Sanyi Kirasingbe. Sanyi Zirbibe. That's okay. Okay, now I hand over the mic to our program coordinator, Pembertonla.
First of all, I would like to thank our Director Venerable Geshe Dorji Damdola for your gracious presence and your valuable teachings for benefit all sentient beings. Thank you, Geshe-la. Before we conclude, on behalf of Tibet House, the Culture Center of His Holiness the Dalai Lama's New Delhi, I would like to invite all of our online participants and offline participants for tomorrow's celebration of His Holiness the 90th birth anniversary at Dr. B.A. Ambedkar International Center at 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So we will be very happy for your presence tomorrow. And with this now, we will do three prostrated prostrate with Venerable Geshe-la and conclude today's session. Thank you very much for all the participants for your presence. Thank you.
Okay, just for particularly for the offline participants, those who are in Delhi, you're most welcome, as our program coordinator Pemberton indicated. At Tibet House, what happened was that they usually organize this program, the commemorating His Holiness' birthday on 6th July. So this time we organized on 2 different days. One is the 6th July, which we already did. And the second one is on today. This is happening on a larger scale because of the 90th birthday anniversary. So tomorrow, which is 11th of July, we're going to organize a program on a larger scale in Delhi, and where we encourage the youngsters, many school students will join us, because His Holiness's thoughts of universal compassion and the world leadership, compassionate leadership. This is something that these children should learn, and the future generation, future leaders who are produced from this kind of mindset of His Holiness, when they start to lead the world, we see that the world is going to be a more beautiful world where everybody will hold hands of each other rather than push and send missiles. Instead of that, so this is what is expected. So with this mind, we're encouraging the school children, more children joining us. There's a huge capacity tomorrow. Of course, when His Holiness, we invite His Holiness, then it's going to be like thousands of lakhs of people. But then when His Holiness is not there, then of course we need to think of the space. So we have the space for about like 700 capacity auditorium, and school children will be given the preference for that. And alongside all the other people who are asked to register, and those in Delhi who could not register, and if you're interested, you're most welcome. So there, what is happening is that the first, of course, is the commemoration of His Holiness's birthday anniversary, 90th birthday anniversary, plus that we are actually screening what is known as the premium screening. It's not just a movie screening, it's a premium screening of His Holiness's movie, the latest movie on His Holiness, The Wisdom of Happiness. So that is to be screened. The premium screen is happening in Delhi. And number two, that His Holiness's like 30 years, almost like 30 years of His Holiness's personal photographer, Mr. What's that? Okay. Huh? Mr. Manuel. Mr. Manuel, a Swiss gentleman, photographer, a professional photographer who has been taking His Holiness photograph for the last like 30 years, if not 40 years. And he has actually authored a book, pictorial book of His Holiness. This book is going to be released, formally released tomorrow. And alongside there's going to be the discussion, the group discussion on, the book discussion on his book between himself, the author, and the renowned photographer, the Gauri Gill. So that's happening. And after this, then we have the very professional cultural performance. I remember that our former Tibet House vice chairperson, Mr. M.S. Raskutra, who was the vice chairperson of Tibet House, since many years ago, he was asking me if there's a possibility to bring the Tibetan Institute of Performing Arts, because that the Tibet House is a cultural center, and then alongside the rigorous academic studies, the intangible aspects of the Tibetan culture, like the performing arts. So if that can be brought to Delhi, that would be again another important feature of Tibet House. So keeping this in mind, so most likely it's like the last 30 years, this very professional Tibetan, the artists, they were not actually, they did not perform in Delhi for more than like 20 years. So therefore, it is first time tomorrow that a performance is happening on a very high level, professional level, that this performance is happening after like 20, 30 years for the first time in Delhi. So these are the things happening to commemorate His Holiness, the sun of the whole world, who illuminates the whole world with compassion and who teaches world leaders about the need for compassion, the need for dialogue and so forth. So this is something which we will be celebrating, commemorating, and His Holiness birthday tomorrow. So all of us, online, offline, both, you're most welcome to join us for this program. And yes, and the rest, tea serve? Yes, no? Okay, so our program coordinator is saying yes, there's the tea and desi. This is special rice, the ceremonial rice, also will be served for the offline participants and online participants. Bye-bye. Okay, take care, bye-bye. 3 prostrations together.
Thank you, Geshe-la. Thank you, Tibet House. Thank you, everyone.
So much. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much,
Thank you,
Geshe-la.
Geshe-la.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Tibet House. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Good night.
Thank
you so much.
Спасибо.
Thank you,
Thank
Tibet
you.
House.
Thank
You
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you, Geshe-la. Thank you, Tibet House. Thank you, Рагьянла. Thank you, Алексей, Юля, Татьяна. Всем спасибо. До свидания. Очень рада была
Thank
быть.
you, Gishla, and all the
Привет,
Chitro
Илья. Thank you,
number.
Charles.
Всем большое спасибо.
Тиче, Гешалат, тиче, тиче. Всем спасибо. Благодарю.
Всем большое спасибо.
Thank you, Krishna. Thank you, Tibet House.